This mountain was actually fairly devoid of life, and I planted a variety of stuff all over the place. So most of these trees are from the Witchery and Thaumcraft mods. I also, I like to collect flowers, so I keep all the flowers that I find and I bring them back here. And I've got some big trees on this side. It's all very mysterious looking. And my big altar. And I'm going to take us down the main entrance now. This is inside Witch Mountain. It took me almost 2 months to excavate everything. I have some trees growing indoors because I'm really into trees. I've got lots of construction materials still lying around. I haven't really cleaned this place up. My bed is actually like just over there. So I haven't really turned this into a home yet. It's still kind of wild. I had been part of a class, actually, that Darren Werschler had started at Concordia, and this was sort of his prototype class, and it was actually really interesting. He wanted to examine Ian Bogost's concepts of carpentry and see if there is validity in the ability to do serious theoretical or even philosophical work, not by writing papers or by reading papers, but by actually doing things, building things, creating things. Those activities then become sort of blueprints with which we can sort of apply theoretical ideas. I got a formal invitation to help Darren work on Big Fried Chicken Company, which was sort of an offshoot of one of the projects that had happened on the vanilla server, and he wanted to bring it to the mLab server. BFC stands for Big Fried Chicken. BFC. That big sign, I made that. I made that when we first started. That was my work. And there was a lot of arguing. I think everybody was sort of like, no, the font doesn't look good. You have to put the blocks like that, or you're changing the... Anyways, so everybody had their own opinion on how far apart the blocks had to be and how far apart the letters had to be. It's very funny. Everyone's an art critic. It's kind of great, actually. So here is Big Fried Chicken in the flesh, I guess. It reminds me of a hellscape a little bit. The first fast food franchise on the mLab server, and I was part of the lovely team that built it and placed it here, and really looks quite ominous. We decided to reproduce the original schematics done by a player called Big Haircut Prime, and he made the original Big Fried Chicken, and we got permission from him to reproduce almost his exact schematic with a couple of interesting things. And this is actually our workhouse that we built. I built these sort of worker barracks so that there were beds, and we were a bunch of students, and some of the students were completely new to this server, so I figured having beds for them would be good. And then one day I decided that we were being really, like, productive and capitalistic, and it was, like, really, like, we were being really much, like, far too tame for my tastes, and I decided to bomb the place, actually. And I poured lava all over my office. I used to have an office here, so I poured lava on my office, put some netherrack, set the netherrack on fire, and then I left a message. And I wrote, "Capitalist slime, free the chickens or pay," and I signed it PETA. And in fact, in real life, I don't like PETA at all, but they were a convenient scapegoat for me to do my acts of violence in. As well, if you look straight behind the Big Fried Chicken, there used to be a gigantic Microsoft Windows logo. that someone built, and they built it out of wool. And I was feeling a little bit pumped up from all my explosions, so I dumped lava on it as well. And then I also did some other mean things. I freed all the chicken. There was a chicken pen over here, and I freed them. And now there's no chickens here. The chickens are gone. There's no more chickens. 'Cause they're all free now. They're free-range hens, for real, 'cause they're gone. I think the response to what I did was extremely tame. Basically, nobody cared. They were like, "Oh, that's nice. Somebody is role-playing PETA on the server. That's great." Yeah, and nobody rebuilt the chicken coop because I didn't. I decided to not try to change anything that happened. There's like chickens like bathing happily in this little pool. That actually makes me extremely happy that the chickens that I freed are like having a bath in the pool and enjoying themselves. That's kind of cool, actually. I'm very happy about that. Sometimes poetry happens. Sometimes, because this isn't my server and it's a server run out of a university, I definitely, it doesn't feel like play when I'm on this. It can feel like play, but most of the time I definitely feel like I'm being not observed, but that what I do will speak further. I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, like the manner in which people interact, especially when the spaces are not only online, but they're also offline. So all of these people that I meet on this Minecraft server, most of them I actually interact with, not on a daily basis, but at least a weekly basis. And so when I'm in my downtime and I'm at home and I come on and I'm also interacting with them, it creates a very interesting environment. It blurs the lines between the professional or the academic and the personal, and that has all sorts of like repercussions and consequences. But sometimes there's too much closeness, and sometimes I think it's good to get a break.